Hey everyone, welcome back to the Light Up Your Metabolism podcast. Today we are going to talk about a topic I don't often talk about. I don't feel like I talk about it enough, which is exercise and movement. So I have a client currently in blood sugar mastery, and she is experiencing insulin resistance, high blood sugar, potentially like a pre-diabetes diagnosis. She's been on metformin for years, and she is struggling to lose weight and struggling to control her blood sugar. So, one of the things I ask my blood sugar mastery students is like, what's your routine? What are you doing? Like, give me your updates of what are your habits and all that. So she told me she wakes up early to work out every day, and she does that around the like 6 o'clock mark. And so she's doing a hard workout before the sun rises. She strength trains. She used to be like a bodybuilder. So this is a person who knows her way around the gym, and she's waking up at 6 a.m. to work out. Yet she said that she has not made any strength gains in a really long time. And she is still struggling with these blood sugar numbers and just feeling tired and not feeling optimal. So she put on a CGM. And what she noticed was that she got a very big blood sugar spike up to about 180 when she worked out. And then it really dipped down low afterwards. It went down to about 80. So, like 100-point drop after the workout. And she noticed that she would be on sort of a blood sugar roller coaster the rest of the day when she did this morning workout. And so, what I recommended to her is to take out the workout. And so many people ask me, well, I don't understand because isn't working out good for your blood sugar? And so I'm going to circle around to answering that question, but she took out the workout and she said she's feeling much more energized. She noticed that on the CGM, she doesn't have these big spikes in the morning. Her blood sugar is much more stable. There's way fewer spikes, and she started working out on the weekend during daylight hours. So after she's had a nice breakfast, she'll work out, and she said that she has worked out significantly less. And she just said this last night. She has been increasing her weight that she is able to lift. So she's working out less, making more gains, experiencing improvement with all of her symptoms and her blood sugar numbers by taking out a workout. Now, this can feel so counterintuitive for people. And it's not that working out is bad. That's not the message. So, in today's episode, I'm going to kind of talk about why I made this recommendation and why she is seeing the improvements that she's seeing. And I'm going to share this. This is for a person with high blood sugar. And I'm going to share a story about someone with low blood sugar, or sort of a combination of both. I had another client who I saw over the summer. She was waking up early to work out at like 5:30. She had a diagnosis of pre-diabetes. She had consistently high blood sugar during the day and a lot of blood sugar drops at night. So she was experiencing both hyper and hypoglycemia. So when I suggested for her to take out the workout, I'm laughing because she said, I didn't want to sign up for this program because I knew you were going to tell me to stop working out at that time, and I thought I was going to hate you. Those were her words. She doesn't hate me. She's a wonderful client and now a close friend. So I'm laughing because she was very resistant to doing this, right? We get attached to our workout routine. Some people do. Some people are like, God, if only I could get attached to a workout routine. I hear myself in that. But some people are very attached to their workout routines because it's what energizes them. It's what helps them feel better. It's helpful for their mental health. So I'm not standing here saying, I'm taking away everyone's workouts. So don't worry, we'll get into that. But what ended up happening was she took out that workout. She changed it to walking after breakfast, and she noticed almost instantly that she stopped having blood sugar crashes at night. There's another client, my client Lucinda, who is over in Europe. She was having hypoglycemia, pure hypoglycemia, not a mix. So I'm giving you someone with hyper, a mix, and now hypo. She was doing these long forest walks. She was in nature. She was getting grounded. She was improving her nervous system by being in the woods. She's getting sunlight. She's getting all these benefits of these long forest walks. She was doing this in the middle of the day, and she's walking and her blood sugar's crashing. And it's crashing quite a bit after she returns from this walk. And it's crashing during the day. And she was doing so much better with eating her diet that helped her stay more stable, but she still wasn't seeing the benefits that she wanted to see. And so on our coaching calls in Blood Sugar Mastery, I had to say to her, and I knew this was gonna, like, I knew she would be crushed by my recommendation, that I said, I want you to consider taking out these forest walks or making them significantly shorter, not an hour hike, but maybe 10 minutes. Sit down, put a blanket, be in the forest, but don't walk quite as much. And then maybe you're resting and then 10 minutes home. And the pushback I got on this was like, how can I take away something that makes me feel so good? How can I take away walking when walking is so good for you? And so she, what I told her is that this is not forever. This is not supposed to be like, hey, no, let's take out what what you love. It's really because it was obvious to me that her body couldn't handle that stress of the walk, that her body was perceiving the walk as a stressor and not as stress reduction. And so she did take out these walks, and wouldn't you know, her blood sugar stopped crashing. And what was she able to do? She was able to add them back in. So this is, exercise can be an interesting thing when it comes to a lot of the blood sugar clients that I see, because the sweeping recommendations on the internet are to work out. You have blood sugar problems, work out. You don't work out, you need to work out. Everybody should be working out. And I believe that everyone, I don't like to use the word should, that all human beings, to be in optimal health, would benefit from working out, but many people not right now because they can't handle it, or because the timing is wrong, which we'll go into, and that's making it much more of a stressor than getting benefits from this hormetic stressor. And so that's what I want to bring today. I want to bring this nuance of the fact that it is not accurate to say everyone should be exercising right now. Okay, so think about someone with a sprained ankle or a broken ankle. Should that person be taking walks? Walks are good for you. Like, should that person be weight bearing on their ankle? Not necessarily, right? Maybe that person had fresh ankle surgery and they can't walk on it right now. We can understand that the walking would inflame the ankle. It would prolong the healing process. It would cause more damage right now. Right? But there's a certain time in the ankle healing process that you have to put weight on it. You have to be walking on it. You have to practice weight bearing. You have to slowly increase the amount that you're walking, that you're putting stress on it. And as you heal, what do? You challenge it more and more. So first it's maybe a little bit of steps. Then it's maybe walking on uneven surfaces. Then maybe it's walking for long periods of time. Then maybe it's jogging. Then maybe it's running. Then maybe it's jumping. So you can see how there is, for some people, a period of time in which exercise can be more damaging than it is beneficial. I see a lot of these people. A lot of my clients fall into this category where exercise is going to make them worse right now. But the point is that we are working towards healing so that we get the benefits from exercise. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, that we can see that it is not a blanket statement. Now, there are people for whom exercise will be beneficial now, but they are doing it at a time or maybe in a manner in which it is not benefiting them. So let's talk about circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is like our body's clock, that we are synced up, hopefully, to the sun's schedule. And so our body takes information from the light, and the light tells the body, oh, it's this time, do this. It's this time, do this. It's this time, do this. So we're building muscle, we're solving problems, we're repairing cells, we are growing and digesting, metabolizing. There's all these hundreds and thousands of tasks we need to do. And the body gets information from the sun's light. Now, when the sun is up, we are in more of a go mode. We're building, we're growing, we're hunting, we're gathering, we're solving problems, we are eating, we're digesting, we're doing all of these things during the day. And at night, when the sun is down, that's when cortisol comes down or should come down and melatonin rises. Melatonin is the hormone of sleep, but also rest and repair. Melatonin runs the repair processes. So when the sun is down, we are in a repair mode. We are in a resting mode, or ideally, again, I don't like the word should, but I'm just blanking. We should be, okay, for optimal benefits. Now, when someone, no matter how high their blood sugar is waking up before the sunrise to go into a blue lit gym, oftentimes, where the blue light in there is sending a giant cortisol spike to our body, because I bet you the gym only has fluorescent or LED lights and not any infrared to balance that out. So it's a strictly blue environment, and that is going to cause a big rise of cortisol when the sun is down, and we're supposed to be having lots of melatonin at that time. And not only are we getting this cortisol spike early, it's very likely to be very high, because we're not only exposed to the light, but we're now exercising. And exercise will raise our stress hormones like cortisol, and that will blunt melatonin. So during the time in which we are supposed to be running repair processes, we are now running growth processes. We said, nope, you've had your time to repair. Hope you got everything done. Let's build. Let's spike cortisol and let's do these things. Now, what do giant rises in cortisol do to our blood sugar? It raises our blood sugar. It raises then our insulin. So a lot of these people who are working out early are inadvertently raising their cortisol, their blood sugar, and their insulin way too early. So not on time. And so many of these people are also working out fasted or working out after coffee or pre-workout. So we are adding more cortisol, more stress hormones from the caffeine to the mix. So we're caffeinating, spiking cortisol. We're going in a blue lit gym, spiking more cortisol. We are working out, spiking more cortisol. When we have so much cortisol and stress hormones running through our body, as I mentioned, we are very likely to experience chronically elevated blood sugar. And therefore, when the blood sugar is elevated, we're going to get a rise of insulin, and we develop chronic high levels of insulin, which leads to insulin resistance. So a big takeaway I want to say is that if you cannot work out during daylight hours, the very vast majority of people I recommend to not be working out. If you can't get it in during the daylight hours, you probably will not want to be doing this. There are going to be exceptions to that, but I want you to assume that if you're listening to this podcast, you are not the exception, you are the rule. That means that what I said, if you cannot work out during daylight hours, it is not worth the workout, because everything in health, everything we do in health is a cost benefit analysis. Okay, so we have to look at, there's going to be benefits and there's going to be sort of negatives that come with anything that we do in our health. So for example, let's take working out. If you work out, you are stressing your body. You are causing some inflammation. But in a healthy person, if this is done, during the daylight hours, and maybe they've had a nice meal and they've done all this to get their body ready for working out, what should happen is that we stress the body, and the body adapts and gets stronger and benefits from that stressor because it is adapting and getting stronger. Now, if we exercise and we are doing it at let's say a suboptimal time, we're doing it not nourished and we're fasted and we're having coffee and we're spiking our stress hormones and all of that, we may get minimal benefits from the workout. Why? Because there's so many stressors that we just tacked on that the gains that we got from the workout are negligible, because there's so many negatives that it's overall like a net negative experience. It's a net stressful experience. It's a net inflammatory experience that your body is not able to heal from. And so remember, I just said exercise causes inflammation. Now, if we are cutting our sleep short, our time where we're resting, repairing, healing, reducing inflammation by sleeping and having all this melatonin run through our bodies, which combats inflammation, and we're waking up to stop repairing the inflammation and inflame our bodies more by being in a blue lit gym doing a fasted workout at 5:30 in the morning, can we see that this is going to potentially be a net negative? Now, there are going to be people who are in the gym and they're working out early and they're ripped and they're typically men and they do this all the time and they're quote fine. That's not the people I'm talking to. I'm talking to typically women and typically people who are not at a great weight or struggling with some sort of plateau with their weight or their blood sugar or their insulin or their leptin or their hormones. I'm talking to people who aren't doing great and who are really dedicated to doing these workouts, like my client who I told you, the first one I told you about. She came to me with all these issues. She just signed up for Blood Sugar Mastery. She's currently in the program, and she's been consistent with these workouts. Same thing with the second person I told you about. I'm going to call them by their first initials. So G is the first one, B is the second one. Both of them were extremely consistent with their workouts. And so, yet they were signing up for Blood Sugar Mastery. They were that stuck with their health. They were that stuck with their blood sugar. Like if the workout was helping, it would have helped, but it didn't. Right? So if you find yourself in this space where you're like, I am consistently working out and this isn't helping, then maybe we want to think about switching something up. Okay. So maybe we want to think about taking it from currently as of this recording, it's December. So it's almost winter. It's late fall. The sun is rising super late right now. It's also a season of rest and repair. This is melatonin season. We are experiencing a lot of darkness. And so even the types of exercise we choose will, or you may want to think about the types of exercise we choose and think about the season that we're in. Is it the time to be doing our hardest PR workouts? Potentially not, because I don't know about you guys, but it's been darker, it's been grayer, and I have had much less energy. I've had I want to stay in, I want to stay home, right? That's not some sort of like we're failing because of this. It's like, oh, I don't have any energy. We're not expected to have the same amount of energy all year round. We're not expected, like, Earth doesn't have the same seasons all year round, and our exercise routines, our diets, and what we take on in the day and our work schedules. Ideally, I believe these things should flux with the seasons. It just makes sense, right? Just as our energy fluxes with our menstrual cycles. So it's like, am I going to choose the hardest workout 2 days before my cycle starts? No, definitely not. So it's sort of like we're in the luteal phase of the year, right? So we're in like a giant luteal phase. So all the women out there, you might be understanding, like, think about it like the week or two before your period, okay? That's what we're in right now in winter. And so it's not the right time to be, I don't want to say it's not the right time. I would say I would argue that it isn't the best time to be waking up and doing 5 a.m. workouts because that's the only time you can get it in, quote unquote. I would say if that's the only time you could get it in, I would pull it out and I would consider putting in some different things. So here are the things I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend just moving after your meals. There are many studies showing the benefits of movement after meals. So I'm going to talk about a couple of studies about what I call movement snacks and just this idea of moving after meals and how beneficial this is for your blood sugar. And when we move after meals, we can do this in tiny amounts so that we're not overly stressing our body. And you can customize the length of time that you are walking or moving to what you feel you best tolerate. So if, let's say, you walk for 20 minutes after a meal and you feel your blood sugar going low and you feel lightheaded and dizzy and you feel anxious, that was too much walking for you. And radically accepting the fact that right now I cannot walk for 20 minutes because that's too much for me. And knowing that I'm going to reduce this so that my body can have space to heal so that I can walk for 20 minutes. I can walk for longer than that. So it's not a punishment that you can't walk this long. It's not a failing that you can't walk this long, but it would really help you to radically accept that you can't walk this long without feeling bad and that that's too much stress for your body right now. Okay? So we can customize the amount of time that we're moving after our meals based on how we feel. And if you use a continuous glucose monitor or can get one, seeing what your blood sugar is doing during that time and overnight and seeing if I reduce this, do I feel better? Okay. So let's talk about how movement snacks or different short bursts of movement can really help improve our blood sugar. Because if we think that that's possible, we can take out the idea in our head, I have to do a 45-minute workout in the gym because I have blood sugar issues. We have to erase that statement from our mind, but we also need something to replace it with. Because if it's just like, oh, I don't need to do 45-minute workouts, like it can be like, okay, now what? What do I do? So I don't work out at all. So I'm going to give you something to replace that with. So there was a study done in 2024 where they looked at overweight and obese men. Okay. So obviously this is not going to apply to every single person, but we're just going to take some of this information and just mull it around. So what they did was compared a single walking bout after a period of prolonged sitting versus frequent mini breaks or short walking or squatting breaks that's interspersed throughout these sitting periods. So basically, they compared walking for a long time after sitting for a long time or breaking up the sitting by doing little bursts of movement of squats and walking. And the result was that the frequent walking or squatting breaks produced a lower post-meal blood sugar reading and area under the curve. So that means their blood sugar spike, let's say we sort of colored that in and we took that area. I mean, I'm not good at math, you guys, so you can kind of imagine. And then what they would notice is that the frequent walking group had a less of a smaller area under that curve, meaning they had less significantly lower blood sugar impact of the meal. So, how we can interpret this is that repeated low effort muscle activation, just like walking or body weight squats throughout sitting periods, may be more effective for controlling blood sugar and regulating your blood sugar than one discrete workout. Okay. So I hope that helps you see that if you're a person who can't do an hour-long walk or a 20-minute walk, you're in luck. Guess what? You don't have to. You can do other things to help your blood sugar, including just maybe set an alarm for every hour, do 10 air squats, and maybe just walk down the stairs, walk up the stairs. So we can move in small amounts and get a lot of benefit from that without stressing out our body. Another study done in 2013 was 3 15-minute bouts of moderate post-meal walking that helped to lower post-meal high blood sugar in older people. So this study was done on older adults, not necessarily diabetic adults. And the protocol was 3 15-minute walks after each meal, compared to no walking after meals or just doing their normal things. These intermittent post-meal walks significantly reduced post-meal blood sugar. So, frequent moderate intensity movement after meals, even fairly modest amount of time, just a 15-minute walk, significantly helps to blunt blood sugar spikes. And this may be more practical for people. So, again, instead of doing a 45-minute walk, break it up into 3 15-minute walks. It's also sometimes easier to fit in during the day. Maybe if you can't do it after every meal, you can do it after some of your meals. If you can't do a full walk, maybe you do a bunch of air squats. Maybe you vacuum, that's when you vacuum the house, or maybe that's when you're doing the dishes and putting things away. You're moving a little bit. Another study done on overweight and obese adults was that instead of one long exercise bout, participants interrupted prolonged sitting with short bouts of light or moderately intense walking, so similar to the others, and it showed that it lowered post-meal blood sugar and insulin responses compared to continuous sitting. So even light activity, intermittently spaced, is enough to improve glycemic or sugar control, as well as support better insulin responses. Another one was interrupting. This was a meta-analysis done in 2024. So they looked at a bunch of studies and it reviewed these randomized control trials examining the effect of breaking up sitting with physical activity on blood sugar and insulin. And the result was that interruptions every 30 minutes or so had the highest likelihood of being the most effective intervention to improve blood glucose versus prolonged sitting. And the secondary finding was that even every 20-minute interruption significantly lowered glucose and insulin versus prolonged sitting. So the interpretation is that frequent, regular muscle activity breaks appear to be among the most powerful lifestyle tools for attenuating or reducing post-meal blood sugar spikes, especially relevant for people with sedentary jobs or long sitting times. So I could go on, but these studies are kind of similar. And so what we can see here is that I'm not suggesting you only need to walk and that's going to be great and you can just you never have to do anything else. But if you are like me and you have gotten very sedentary and your step count has decreased and you are forgetting to get up and do squats or do a little bit of movement, we can start now. We can restart now. And so knowing that you don't have to do this incredible best workout of your life to get benefits on your metabolic health can be really helpful for a lot of people as a starting point, as a starting again point like me, or as a place to sort of reduce the intensity down to so that you have something that can help support your mental health, that can help get your lymph moving, that can help you get outside and feel good and feel like you're doing something. And so I just want to remind people that, I mean, yes, there are tons of benefits of both strength training, cardio on our metabolic health. So, yes, those things do help, but we want to do those things at the right time in the right amount so that we're not overly stressing our body and that we are actually getting benefits and gains from these workouts instead of it making us have a reduced performance in the gym or staying stuck or plateaued with our weight, our blood sugar, our insulin, our hormones, our sleep. Okay, so these are all things that we can look at. We can look at, am I sleeping well after these exercises? Do I feel good after I exercise and stay feeling good? Or is it like I just feel really good after the exercise and then I feel really crappy the rest of the day? I'm not sleeping well. I wake up super tired and then I work out and I feel good for a little while, but then I don't feel good. Okay. I cannot tell you how many people I have coached inside of Blood Sugar Mastery where I have recommended they take out their workouts because I've seen their blood sugar and it's spiking and crashing all the time, or super high plateau, and or any different any sort of pattern. And I have told these people, I recommend you pause the workouts right now. And oftentimes they start crying. They start crying because they feel, some of them feel upset. They don't cry because they're upset, but some of them feel upset, like my other clients, and they're like, oh, I don't want to take this out. But some people are the opposite. They're like, thank goodness I just got what feels like the permission to not do this, because they knew in their heart that it wasn't feeling good, but they felt like they had to because they have blood sugar and insulin issues. So I am here to tell you, you don't have to do a big workout if you have blood sugar issues. There are other ways to get to the point where you can tolerate working out, where it's beneficial for you. But there's so often there are just so many people I work with who I see. So that means in the general population, there are people for whom their workouts are not serving them. So I want you to ask yourself, what is my exercise routine like? If it's nothing at all, let's start with a little bit of movement after meals. Okay, a little bit of movement. Let's do 10 squats after meals. Let's do a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk. Let's at least one time a day, right? Let's commit to something small and achievable and then build on, right? So don't commit to, if you do nothing, don't commit to walking after every single meal because you might not be able to do that. Maybe choose one meal. Maybe choose 10 squats after each meal, something super small and achievable that you can be consistent with. Okay, that's where I want you to start. If you are a person who has blood sugar crashes and you identify that you have seen it on CGMs, or you just know in your heart your blood sugar is crashing and you're doing hard workouts, I encourage you to consider pulling out that workout and doing more of the little tiny movement snacks after meals. After meals is important for hypoglycemics because we don't want to do anything fasted because that's going to pull down the blood sugar more. Now, if you have reactive hypoglycemia where you are dropping really low after your meals, then I don't recommend doing a lot of movement snacks then. So see how there's so many caveats for all different types of people. If you have reactive hypoglycemia, that's something that we can certainly work on and then find some way to add movement for you. May be better doing a little bit of movement perhaps before a meal, but I hesitate to say that without seeing each person. If you are a person who is working out and your blood sugar is plateaued, is high, you get the dawn phenomenon, a big spike in the morning. If you feel very plateaued with your weight, if you feel like you have symptoms of high cortisol, I strongly recommend pausing some of your workouts, perhaps doing something less intense, maybe yoga, maybe like a meditation, maybe just walking, maybe longer walks, but after a meal. And I highly encourage anyone who is struggling with anything with their health, who is working out when the sun is down, to highly consider pausing that and seeing what changes, seeing what opens up. So the good news about all of this is that we can experiment with something. We don't have to choose to do something forever and ever. It's like, let's just experiment and see what happens. Okay. So I encourage you all to experiment with this for yourself and really hope that you find more spaciousness and something that is better attuned for your body right now. And remember that just like with that broken ankle, there's a period of healing. The idea of someone having a broken ankle, it's not like, oh, sorry, guess you're never going to walk again. What? You're never going to work out again. You broke your ankle once. No way. Your body has the capability of healing that ankle. So you can walk, you can run, you can jump, you can sprint, you can do whatever you want. So our bodies, it's the same way. Everyone's body is the same in that we all have that capability of healing. If you don't think you can heal, that is very likely a reason why you're stuck. If you don't think that you can heal, that is very likely a reason why you are stuck. So, first off, intending to believe that your body can fully heal and that you can fully reintegrate and do the activities that you want to do. That's step one, is believing that that can happen, visualizing that that can happen, saying, I am going to get back in the gym because I love lifting weights, or I am going to get back to going to my dance class and my dance class is going to make me feel phenomenal. Okay? Put that out there. Say it. Put it in words. Because as soon as you do that, the whole universe is going to form around that. So just know that this is to the pause or reduction in exercise is to help you get to where you want to go. Think about it like a slingshot or a bow and arrow. We have to pull you back, give you a little rest so you can fly, so you can excel forward. Okay? I hope that this episode is super helpful for you all, or validating for your experience, or pushing you in a way that feels like, I should do this. Some of you might be saying that. So I'm really excited to hear how it goes for you. So please keep in touch. I love to hear from you all and what you're struggling with and what helps you and what helps you improve. And I really admire those of you who are going to step outside of your comfort zone and let go of something that you think is like your lifeline, and know that you can change this at any time. If you take out working out for a month and you're like, I feel worse, then add it back in. Listen to your body, and then consider glucose monitoring so you can see what your body is doing. You can see, oh gosh, I am dipping 600 times overnight. My body's stressed and I might need to change something. So thanks for listening. I will see you. I'm doing this podcast now every other week because I want to get out more courses. So I want to get out so much more in the world for you all. And so I've decided to take the podcast down to every other week. I have hundreds of episodes. So if you're ever like, oh, I want another episode, just dig through the archives. I have so much going on. I have so much content for you guys. And so it's been a hard thing, but I made the decision to take it down to every other week so that I can serve my clients better and put out more paid offerings for you guys to work more deeply into all these areas that I'm talking about. So thanks for listening. See you soon. And thank you all for sharing these podcasts with people you love, sharing on your stories, rating, reviewing. It really means a lot to me. And I really hope that you get so much value out of every episode. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.